I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. The meeting will please come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, as amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 3 minutes.
Since you've done it down already, I want to stand up now.
Sir?
I said, since I'm on the agenda already, I'm not going to stand up.
That's correct.
You stand up.
Anyone else? If not, we will go to item number 1, which is a discussion of the low frequency noise. Mr. Morgan has requested that this be put on the agenda, and I know you have talked about it numerous times, and we have addressed it, but we're going to address it again this morning. I think the first issue is the EPA that delegated the authority to the state and local governments. And the state governments, every state is different as to how the state is run. They have their own state constitutions. And in Texas, the state has assumed that authority. They have created the TCEQ and other agencies that are to address those. And that's why it's not come down to the actual local governments. In the Texas local government, the only thing that we can address are things that are specifically statutes that were within the law, or something that is in the Constitution. We can't address anything else. That's just the way that ours is set up. Now, you talked about the Attorney General. Do you want to talk about that part first? And then we'll move down to the Attorney General.
Which part first?
The fact that the EPA delegated the authority to the states and local governments.
Well, the state can control noise. It was delegated down to Texas from the federal government.
Correct.
Okay? And so we've got to do that. We haven't implemented the law that says you have to control the noise. That's well written out in the
And I think that the Attorney General,
federal government.
you had requested an Attorney General opinion, and the DA had requested that from the Attorney General, and I think that you were not pleased with the Attorney General opinion. Is that correct?
The Attorney General of Texas is trying to do something he's not allowed to do. He has taken, said, oil and gas and put out all the noise they want to. That's violating federal law. And the federal law was delegated to the states. We've got to implement that law.
And we've talked about that. You've gone to the legislature, you have talked to them numerous times in committee meetings, and you did get some things, I think, put into that House Bill 1818, is that correct?
House Bill 1818 says you got to protect our people.
protect our people.
And we're not doing it.
Now, the Attorney General cannot add to or take away from the bill that was passed by the House. And as we talked about before, in that House bill, it doesn't specifically say noise. I understand what you're saying, that if they're not addressing noise, then they are not protecting the people. However, the only way that I can see anything would be changed would be if you could go to the legislature and have them specifically put something into, amend the bill, have a new bill, or whatever, if it would specifically address noise. Because, like I said, the Attorney General is not going to add to or take away from anything in that bill. All he can address is what is specifically in there, and it doesn't specifically say noise.
He offered an opinion that said that oil and gas can put out all the noise they wanted to. That is a lie.
Did it say that in the opinion?
He has taken the authority from the governor.
I don't think it specifically said that in that opinion. You're inferring that they can put out any amount just because it's not regulated by the Attorney General opinion. Is that correct?
He has implemented a law, he did his own law. He can't do that. He has jumped in there and taken the authority that he's not allowed to take. The governor says...
That is your opinion, and that's between you and the Attorney General. We cannot control that. Now, the Railroad Commission is the same situation. It says to ensure public safety and protect the environment. It doesn't specifically address noise, and they are not specifically addressing it either in the Railroad Commission, because it's not specifically listed as the noise issue in the bill.
In the meeting that I had with folks over there in Austin, they said, yeah, we need to protect our people.
But they didn't put it in there.
I think they did put the noise in on the wall. It's not.
If you read House Bill 1818, Brian just walked in. Would you like to add to what?
Yes, ma'am. And we followed, just to add my 2 cents in. We followed up. What was it, 2 years ago? Maybe 3, maybe 4. I don't know. Time gets away from me. But with the Attorney General's opinion, to make sure that we were understanding what was in there, what wasn't, and that noise was not included in what they were regulating. So I think that's kind of the problem. Kind of what Judge is explaining. It's just it's not regulated in there.
And the fact that we can't control that. We can't tell the legislature or the Railroad Commission how they can address that. It has to be specifically in a law. I don't see how anything else can happen. So talking to us about it, there's nothing we can do. We can only look to what they...
He was delegated from the federal government to the state government, and we are part of the state government.
Yes, we are. But we can't go down there and tell them what they have to do.
We can't implement what was delegated to us. It's delegated to us.
It is, and they have addressed it in that House Bill 1818. They have not specifically addressed noise, so there is that's where your issue is.
It goes back to the definition of pollution from the federal bill. In the Attorney General's opinion, he did not recognize noise as pollution.
Well, but the Attorney General cannot put anything, they cannot add to or take away what is in that law.
It wasn't specific from the federal government.
Maybe it wasn't from the federal government.
It wasn't specific enough to interpret it.
You don't think we can do anything about the noise, period, when it's delegated to us?
I don't know what we can do, and that's why I referred you to Angela Orr, our state representative.
Correct.
Well, we've got people being killed all over Texas. And I estimate we're going to have 2.3 million people in Texas killed by the noise.
Well, the state
So we don't do anything, just kill them, I don't care how much time. I'm making oil, I'm putting oil out there, and that's my job. I don't give a darn who you kill. That's what oil and gas does. They don't care. I have been terribly harmed by these guys. Had brain damage 3 times, caused by low frequency noise from the compressor station near my home. 9/10 of a mile from my house. And I can't get anybody to control those knuckleheads, to keep them from trying to kill me.
I think again, it goes back to getting something in the law that shows that it can be addressed.
Well, it said protect our people. In House Bill 1818,
It does.
implement that law. We're not implementing that law.
I would agree with Commissioner Lane and what we've kind of said before is that I think that speech, giving that to Austin and giving that to Angela or to present, if language needs to be added to a bill in Austin, they can determine that, and then we would be able to take action from there if it was put into a bill for us to take action on. So I would reiterate, that's kind of what I've been saying for quite some time now, is that everybody here cares about our citizens, but we can't enforce something that's not a law. And right now, it's very clear that that's not part of that statute.
Okay, the state attorney general can't put it out of law.
No.
He thinks he can't. He's not allowed to put out a law. That's up to the legislature. But he would give his opinion.
Exactly. It's
All I
up
guess-
to the legislature, and that's where we are.
He's not part of the legislature,
No,
but he
but he's
has.
right. And
but he has
Angela
said-
is, and that's who you need to talk to. If they get that in the law, then it will be enforced. But we cannot do that.
We can do something and go to our state representative and say, hey,
Exactly.
and I've tried to do that, and I can't get their attention. Maybe you can. Because this is a sorry thing to do to our people in this county. We're number 8 in oil and gas implements out there.
I will tell you that I will call her again, and I will talk to her about that. But that is all that I can do.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming this morning. We'll move to item number 2, which is to approve the minutes of the August 7th, August 12th, and August 14th meetings. Mr. Martin, I will tell you that, Mr. Martin, I will tell you that Angela Orr's office has requested information from us. It's been several months ago, but we did provide that to them, all the information that you had given us. We did send copies, and we have furnished those to her office.
You did?
Yes, I did, but I will contact them again.
I've written letters to her in the past also. I'm not getting any response.
On August 14th, Judge, second page. We did a lot of talking that day. All those figures, that's correct. What's here? Is that what we decided that day?
I don't know if I have a copy of mine.
Yeah.
You all have a copy of the new printed,
I don't know if it's here or not. I got one of these.
no, that's not it.
Not it.
Maria, it'll be the salary grades. Did you go get copies of those?
I just make sure before we
I got my
approve it.
notes, but I have my
Okay,
notes.
well, we have it updated.
Okay,
She'll bring a copy of it to us.
I made notes on that, what we changed.
Karen said that in the binders, it's number 18.
On number 18? Oh, okay, it's in here already. Thank you. Yes, if you will look 2 more pages down. Yeah. And there are those sheets.
Oh, I got you,
Okay. Good, thank you.
got you.
Compare these.
Grade 3 says 42 million on
It
the
is
sheet,
42.5.
says 42.5 on the sheet.
Yeah.
Our writing was probably bad. You want it to be 42.5 or 42.8?
I thought we,
I don't know,
just, let
42 is no.
me look at the notes.
Mine says 42A.
Mine does too.
I'll
Does it?
change it.
Okay.
That's all. Make a motion to accept the minutes on August 7th, 12, 14.
I second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried.
That's that. That it?
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Item number 3 is budget transfers and amendments.
I'll pull up number 6 down there, where Sheriff Shipley is requesting moving $37,597 from capital outlay major purchases over to leases and agreements. What kind of leases and agreements will be coming up now that we didn't know about?
E4.
Huh?
I bet it's E4.
It is.
It is. It says right below it, purchase E-Force annual license and support fee right below that number 6.
So
If you will read
so
that.
that's where it's going into E-Force?
Reclass the department expense line items to replenish and purchase E-Force annual license and support fee.
So how often do we pay that? Is it by the year?
Annual license, yes, sir.
Okay, so it's fixing to start. I mean, he's fixing to pay that now, so it's getting started. Will it be up and going?
I didn't say that.
Nah, let's just say that.
I
We'll
said
get into
we're
that.
paying the
On down the
license.
agenda, we'll get into that.
I was always told you couldn't pay for something that you wouldn't already in service, but I guess I'll talk about that later.
We will.
You're supposed to have it in hand, then.
So that's what I was
That's what
told.
we've been done.
Got every eye on it.
Yeah, gotta have, get a hold.
Well, we do.
This
We
might
plug
be-
it in right now.
This might be something you can't see.
With plug-in on it.
Well,
And the plug top.
they
There's still
they
some more moving
provided it
parts.
to us, and the fact that we don't have it operational, they still had provided it to us for this period of time. I understand, that's all I can tell you.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve, transfer.
Second.
motion and a second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 4 is to pay the bills. I'm sorry, let me go back. We also have, we need a motion to accept the funds, $1,664.37.
I'll make that motion.
Second. From the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, to the senior citizen.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? No, motion carried. Item number 4 is to approve pay the bills. I think there are 3 sets, maybe 2 sets.
There's 4.
Because that was one more set right there. Before,
Yes.
Well, there's one of them on this indigent attorney fees, $34,000. Kind of jumps out at us. Well, I guess.
probably a trial.
Yeah,
Was it a trial?
I have to look at them.
I just curious, it
You know, I-
jumps out at you. I mean,
Oh,
most
okay.
of them, you know, 4, 5, but one of them is.
I would only assume it's a trial, we just had one.
Okay.
We don't put the names on there,
Yeah.
because it's in the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Kind of jumped out.
it has. That one is that, so-
Tax sale.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think that is an appeal.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to just was.
And-
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the first few in a row. Stan Schweiger would be an appeal, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just jumped out at me. Normally we don't.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot less.
Pharmacy did.
Yeah, pharmacy, same way. Just runaway train.
I got your minute.
Yeah, we got a motion and a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 5 is to approve the payroll.
Hey, we're gonna name right
There
there.
it is, right there.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the payroll.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 6 is reports. We have a report from the extension agent and it lists the things that she did last month, and it also tells you what's going on for next month. Yeah. Senior services. For the month of July, 1,207 congregate meals and 1,905 homebound meals. We have a district clerk. Report for July. County clerk for July. We have a report, IT report for mid-July to mid-August.
And I've got one other, this is for the cybersecurity is complete, so we can certify. It needs to be certified.
Everybody has it done.
Everybody's completed, and I put notes here, that some employee, it's complete, it's ready to certify. There's some notes on here that are
Yes.
just people that have left in the process and things, so it's explained there. So, I think August 31st is
All right, so we're gonna enter this as a report also. All of our current employees are compliant. Do we have any other reports? If not, do we have a motion to accept?
Make that motion.
Second.
Item number 7, burn ban.
No action.
So we do have a burn ban in place, no action, so it'll still be in place. Item number 8, special road use agreements. Anybody have one?
Anybody other than Jared? Jared, I do have a question on,
Yes, sir.
and I'm sorry I didn't get with you before court. Do you know approximately how many miles of road on 300 or 340?
Well, 300, you know, there, I mean, Mr. Brewer's got that road that cuts back from 300 or from 340, that cuts back through the place, so we may be able to utilize that in the construction of the pad sites, because his group is gonna be in charge of building the pads. That was negotiated in the deal with Mr. Brewer, so he may very well allow those trucks to cut through that main road to get to 300, so we don't have to use a whole lot. Now, coming off of 79, right there at 340, all the way right there to the bend right there where you get, there in them chicken houses, right there at Mr. Brewer's place.
Chicken house driveway or the?
Right before the chicken house driveway, there's a dirt road that goes back into an existing pad site that Diversified has, and then we're gonna build a pad site right next to that Diversified site that's already there. I can get back with you on how many miles that it could be.
I just kind of need that as far as when we determine the amount of the bond.
Okay.
I just want to look at the.
I mean, I would say probably at least 7 or 8 miles to be safe,
Right.
but I can get more of a, you know,
On County Road 300, that deal there, the old burnt track hoe,
yes, sir.
how far is it?
There on 300, where is that pad site gonna be?
Yeah,
What do you come off at 350 right there, and then it runs into 300? I would say probably 2 or 3 miles down the road. They're on the right-hand side is where that one's gonna be.
so it's gonna be on that high cleared ground.
Yes, sir. It's gonna be in his hayfield right there,
You always put them in a hay.
in the edge of it. That was we worked out a deal with him, so.
So the location, the well name is the WHSVL.
Western Haynesville, number 51H, and then there's Western Haynesville, 53H.
Gotcha.
And then I'm actively working back up the road, trying to acquire another pad site from the Beans, Brent Bean, right up through there that we're working on, trying to finalize all of that up. So there's gonna be, right now we have about 3 that we already know are gonna be there. And then we're waiting for additional staking orders for Freestone County to come out to, you know, extend what we're doing in Freestone County.
Well, this is the road use agreement that we made the changes to, so this is the latest and the greatest. As far as the bond goes, the road over there, 340, we've got chicken trucks that utilize that road, basically going to the same, turning off on the same lease road that they will be. County Road 300 doesn't get many chicken trucks off of 489. It's pretty rare that happens. So with that many miles of road, I'm thinking, and knowing there's going to be additional sites, would a $200,000 bond is?
I think that Comstock would be fine with 200,000 surety.
Do y'all think that's?
I mean, if that's,
Only one big culvert that they're gonna be crossing, which is on 340, there's only.
Chicken truck's already wearing it out, so, yeah.
Well, there's 2 on 340, but one of them just replaced with the rail car culvert, so it's plenty good. Anyway, I'm good with that 200,000.
200,000, okay.
Do you want to approve it today, subject to getting the bond?
I think that would be best for them, looking at their timeline.
And this for 2 roads, 2 of your roads?
Yes. I'll make a motion that we approve the road use agreement for county roads 340, 300. It's, when you got 350 on there, that's a private road.
Is it a private road? Well, my Google Earth was showing me that it was,
And
that it was a
don't
county
always
road.
show the same.
Okay,
But we can leave it on there as far as that goes. It's not gonna
affect
mess up the road use
Okay.
agreement by no means. But I'll make the motion with County Road 340, 300, private road 350, contingent upon a $200,000 bond from Comstock.
So whenever we get that, do we bring it to Judge Grant, or you want me to contact you, Mr. Lane, or just bring it over to the courthouse and turn it in?
Gets filed at the county clerk's office.
At the county clerk's office? Okay.
You know where it is? Right here.
Right here?
Right
Okay.
here, yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Lane.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? All right, is this the one we're gonna sign and,
And hand to.
yeah, okay.
We're gonna start giving
Yes.
numbers.
We could start,
The last one we had was with Atmos.
Yeah, yeah.
Atmos was last.
Yeah. We work off of that number, or
How are we gonna do that? Now, you remember that?
we could do it like 24,001. And that way we have the year that we did it.
it's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have another one like it, so.
Either way to look it up, whatever's easy.
Okay, we'll come up with the numbers. Put on there. There's a place for everybody to sign that, if you'll send that around. While you're doing that, while you're signing, we're gonna go back up to number 9 and approve the bonds and education certificates of county officials and employees. And we have cybersecurity course for Renee McVeigh, for Latrice Lane, and Lindsay Grant. We also have paternity opportunity program, Jamie Myers. We have a motion to accept these.
I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. And that was number 10, Comstock, that we did. So we'll go to item number 11, which is to accept the donation from the Corsicana Apartment Association to Senior Services in the amount of $100. Let me have that back.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the donation?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye. Motion carries. Item number 12 is to award the bid for the district attorney's office roof. We have 2.
You want to see what this all
But I didn't want to offend anybody.
No, no, all but we understand.
You can go back to work.
Thank you.
Go put those things in there.
I appreciate it. Well, have a pleasure to meet you all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think we'll open these and then we will award them at the next meeting. Is that what you want to do? Or we can have a special meeting to award them a little later? Or you can look at them today and award today.
Well, we were trying to get this in on this year's budget, but
Yes, we were.
now it's of the essence.
I'm gonna pass this one down this way for you to look at. There are 2, one from McLeod Construction, and what's the name on the other one?
F.W. Walton.
F.W. Walton.
That's what we want.
Who is it?
Well, so Steve was his name, and Steve was with a company called Garland. I didn't recognize his name, but if you look down, it says that.
Was that the guy we talked to last Friday?
Yes,
Thursday, whatever.
a Garland roof.
Right.
So basically what we have is 2 bids, but they're
Different product,
for
different.
fixing the roof 2 different ways. This bid right here would be for basically putting the same style of roof back on it.
How much is it?
For the roof coating, $59,757. And then the new ceiling tiles and installation inside the office, $15,896.
I don't think we had that on the bid, did we?
Yes.
Did we?
Mhm.
I can't remember.
We did. 75,653 total.
Say it again, Lord.
75,653.
You wanna let everybody look
I
at
do,
it?
and there are a lot of exclusions in here. I think what we'd have to look at on that is if they tear that old deck off and there's repairs that need to be made on what's under that foam, it's not covered in that 75,000.
And that puts us right back where we were, base, same type roof.
Yeah.
What's the,
And what
It's
is
not what we started out to
time?
do by any
Yeah,
means.
yeah, but I
It was
mean,
just-
we did it, but what kind of life is,
Does it say that's the, there was a 10, a 20, and a 30 option on the, that's for a 10-year roof.
What is the life on that? It's metal, isn't it?
yeah, it ought to be from here on.
It'll be 30 or 40.
Yeah.
That kind of roof is not, I'm not a fan of how that is anyway. I mean, that's just, it ain't it, it's when it gives up.
yeah, but it's good, I thought it was pretty good. Firestone product was very good. Black roof.
Really.
Yeah. What is brown coating, you tax rubber?
How much is that bid?
174,337, that's putting concrete, piers, to support the structure, so you're not compromising the current structure. That's insulating the roof and walls, that's removing ceiling tile, repainting, converting 2x2 ceiling tiles.
Go drain to the
Blue
south,
AC pictures currently on
to the
roof.
south or to the east.
So,
Replace.
Good, down, down.
Into the new system. Here, go.
And the air conditioning units will be on the ground,
Be on the ground,
not on the ceiling, which is,
Plus,
a plus.
If I might interject, that, I didn't hear anything about an air conditioning unit in that $75,000 bill either.
No, that would still be leaving them up there. Well, I mean, that would.
Well, and that wouldn't be replacing the one that's bad now either. So you're gonna have to do that.
Right. I'm not a fan of the
Yeah.
10-year
I'd
bids.
rather fix it be done.
I'd rather fix it right.
That's right. If that's all the bids we got, I think we can make a decision. So that way we can move forward. If we're
that
gonna try
would
to
be
do
the
this,
best, yes.
if we're gonna try to get it this year.
we always
Do
come
you
back.
think we'll get it done by
Because
the
you
end
can
of
start tomorrow, you can
September?
start tomorrow, can't you?
Perfect.
Hey, does that bid include removing those trees that's growing up on the north side of the building?
I was told those trees would be gone when I got there.
In between the buildings.
I was told they would be gone when I got there.
Yeah. I was thinking that Brian and Hammond were gonna get out there and do that.
he said it's pretty narrow in there.
Let me somebody little get in there, so
Go ahead.
you'll be like you're the littlest one.
See if we got any skinny inmates.
Now, this is the roster.
Oh, here, it just says we always rock salt.
Do we just need to do a motion?
I make a motion. We're gonna be glad to
You
start.
make the motion?
Yeah.
I second.
Do you think you'll be through by the end of September? This September?
We'll try.
Next week,
Could we always
We can do a percentage as to what's been done, yes.
Yeah, that's
So I
what
was
I
thinking about,
know,
we
that's,
could do that. We could
I'm trying to
we'll work
get
it
this
out.
budget year.
Yeah, we'll work it out somehow or another.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second, is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed, none. Motion carried, all right.
I guess somebody will work.
Thank you, Jerry. Now.
Appreciate it. Yeah. You good city. What's that?
Number 13. Item number 13 is to discuss the disaster declaration. The one that we have in place, I think that it is a 90-day, I think that it will.
Thank you, Jerry.
We did continue it, and it doesn't say it on here. We did an emergency that was for 7 days, then in court we did do the declaration. And I believe it's for 90 days.
It's the extension. Shows it.
There it is. Well, see, I don't have that one. This is it right here. 90 days, that's right. So I would think need to do another extension for 90 days.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed, none, motion carried. Item number 14, securities policy for system and access controls for new hires and separations.
This is just a proposal for review, okay? But the purpose is to have some mechanism for control of employees when we hire employees, when they're separated. We have a lot of things going on between systems, passcodes, licensing for software, keys, our access codes, alarm codes as we go further down that road. which we already-
Emails.
Email codes and such as that. So right now, there's not a mechanism, you know, when we're hiring somebody, we kind of force it through the process, but there's not a procedural way to do it. My thought, it should be kept in the employee file, that these are the codes that were given or access that they were given, and then if there's a separation, then we basically go and we ensure that we're collecting keys, we're collecting the codes, we're terminating access to the systems. Because right now, if we have a separation, from my perspective, I have no way, there's no procedure in place for me to implement that. And so this kind of, like I say, this is a general overview. It gets into some things that may not be relevant, maybe they will be relevant, because it kind of goes through the whole hiring process and termination process, or not termination, but separation process. So I think it's something that we need to maintain integrity with our systems, access and controls. And so I'd like to have a chance to have this table, go ahead and review it, how y'all do it, I don't know procedurally, but I'd like to let you guys have an opportunity to look at it, get some input, let me modify it accordingly, and then take it to how we do that is implemented as a policy or procedure.
Well, generally, the separation notice has to go to the treasurer's office. And of course, they don't always get those in. Sometimes elected officials don't turn those in, so we do, and they have to track them down, so we do need.
Yeah, and this kind of starts the process for the department, I call it department head. The department head, basically through the interview process, checking off all the boxes, they got the background check, they got whatever they need for the hiring process, and then the exit interviews and the collection of data, so it kind of puts it on the department head to ensure this policy's done. But I would suggest if we go this route, that this is kept, this document is actually maintained in the employee file.
which would be in the treasurer's office.
And I
think
refer
it's
to it
good
as HR.
because it outlines everything, but the last 2 pages, you keep it in the file, you're checking off on the hiring date, and then if they're gone,
Then there's a termination side of it.
There again, it goes back to the department head.
Yes, ma'am.
if
Well,
this was kept an employee file in HR, we really go on HR to follow up with that department head that all these passwords.
And
keys,
they
all that
do,
is going on.
they do call. I do think this is good, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they do call because a lot of times.
it's just kind of, I don't know, yeah, I don't know
Or
what's
they
in,
get it, or they.
because I'm not in the loop, because I find that we have employees who've been gone for months.
They
That
still have
they have
email.
access to email, and I'm just not aware of it.
Thank you. Well, do I have a motion to table?
Make that motion.
Second.
All fair time. Motion carried. Item number 15, to amend the Windstream contract.
We covered this as email correspondence. This system change out is very complex compared to what we've done in the past. They evaluate some more from engineering. So there's a revised agreement, which I have labeled here as number 3, which is our 3rd quote. I've got a copy of your original, which this is the original signed one. And this is the number 3 quote. So I asked them, I said, listen, we're doing all these revisions. When's it going to stop, number 1? Did it assure me that this is the last one? I said, well, put down, I want you to send me an email, tell me what's our all-in cost, with all these changes, right? So really the net is about $20 a month, because it had some stuff come off, some come on. So the net, you know, it's up about $20 from what the original, which you got on there, so next one there.
Yeah.
And that whole deal, you know, that started back in March, when we got our new contract. And they did not send any engineers out. You know, this goes into changing the switches and all that, but they didn't do that. So it was after that contract they sent the engineers for the first time. That led to an amendment, which cost us more money.
No, it actually dropped a little bit on the second one.
The June contract?
Yeah, the net, that's where it gets confusing.
Okay. And so here we are again, changing it again, you know. Contract's supposed to be a contract. There was supposed to be a Windstream guy here to tell us why this is going on.
Yeah, I invited our rep to this meeting. I said, you need to come before the commissioners, tell them why there's all these changes. And he has some medical issues or something, wasn't able to make it. And I said, well, I'll handle it, but you need to send me, you know, what's this net, what's the cost of it. And as we go down this road, right now, I was on the phone yesterday with the engineers. I said, listen, guys, it's been almost 6 months since we signed this contract. I had to fight tooth and nail to get our tax office online. We hit the deadline 1 day before we went live over there. I said, that's not the way it's intended. So they're telling me right now, I said, I'm asking for the worst case. What's your worst case when we're going to be installed and operational with these new switches? And they basically indicated the first part of November, or by November, okay? So this is a 6 to 9 month process. Now, just to make you aware, as we go through this, when we went before the change out of the system with what we got now, the AdTrans switches, we were on an old telephone system, okay? So they were able to bring the internet in, put those switches in, and run them parallel, and then they just pull the phones off and turn the internet on. What we're doing now is we're basically taking our live internet that all of our systems and phones are running on, and we're upgrading those switches. So when we do the change out, especially here at the courthouse, there's gonna be a dropout time. Okay, because we've got it right, because everything's off the same communication channel. So it's going to need to be well orchestrated, especially with his department, because we've got so much going on over there. And I'm going to probably make the suggestion as we go through to have each department head assist, because it's basically just plugging some cables, okay? So when we bring this off in the basement, we'll let everybody know. If I can have each department kind of plug up their stuff, I'll go through it with them. but it'll get everybody back up a lot faster than me running around each building trying to, you know, just some assistance from each department. So I will need to get, on that amendment number 3, which is the $230, whatever, I will, that would be, need to go to a vote, I would, that as soon.
It's an additional $22.84.
And see if I can get that signed and backed up, so keep it moving.
So the total will now be the $3,054.95.
That's what the 231
Which is $22.84 per month increase.
Is that a motion?
We ain't really got a choice, see, we got,
That's just it, you know,
Yeah.
contract.
we gotta use that running like it's supposed to run.
Yeah, we don't really have a choice. It's the
I'm
only-
never at the mercy
At
of it.
least it wasn't 20,000 like those cars were, so.
Yes,
Yeah. Do we have a motion to amend the Windstream contract?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Something Dave was talking about on that change out, when they do away with that phone system, do the switches,
Yes.
I mean, there, people's net out, I mean, they're gonna lose, everything's gonna go down, you know. Unless it has a dedicated line, I guess the only 2 dedicated lines we have are hot cogs.
Well, that's a little bit different what they got going there at the sheriff's office. Their hot cog systems won't come down, but because they're on a standalone dedicated circuit. I'm talking about all our phones, all of our internet, the systems that are operating in the jail as far as like their security cameras, their yada, 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 you know, just there's a lot of things going on over there that are gonna come down, we gotta get back up as soon as possible. And it may be, and that's the reason I'm pushing them on a date, I need a hard date from them, because I'm probably gonna need to have some of the vendors come in that have got this apparatus running over here to be there so we can ensure that we have the support to bring it back on, because some of it may fall out. The other thing I'm working with the engineers on, and they're supposed to give me an answer, is what we call an outward-looking IP address. Because of SD-WAN, they were saying that we were going to maybe have to be swapped and go into a Dallas CO, or central office. If we do that, they're saying that it might change our outward-looking IP, which is going to cause a lot of difficulty for me, and you know, just it becomes very cumbersome. So they're supposed to tell me if I can keep what we got, which is what I'm pushing for, and the lean to say that they probably can, but they haven't given me confirmation. So I'm waiting for that confirmation. But,
How long would it be down, Dave? I mean,
well, based on what, you know, it's, everything's running through here, so an hour, maybe. I mean, their department's gonna be priority, okay? So when we bring it out here, we're gonna have switches already staged at every location. Phones will be staged at every location. So when we pull this down here and everything goes off, this area over here is gonna be number 1, right? That's priority. But an hour or 2, if we run into problems, you know, it's kind of a loaded question, but
Would you wanna do it on a Friday?
I'd like to do it on a Saturday at midnight or something. I mean, I'd like to do it, but the thing is, I'm working with Windstream and getting their, you know, their personnel online for that. But I prefer to do it over the weekend where, you know,
Yeah.
but I am gonna need support from these department
So
heads.
if you do it on a weekend, then they're gonna have to be at their office, because you don't wanna get there Monday morning if something's not working.
Right, but it'll be orchestrated. I'll keep you guys informed as we get closer to what to expect.
How's this gonna affect our 911 calls?
911's coming through, they've got their own lines over there for 911, it's part of the hot top network.
So they'll still be able to call 911?
And 911, as I understand, that should still be live because it's not part of our network.
It's through hot copy.
Yeah, I mean,
But
is there
some,
any other number that they can call the sheriff's office in case there was an emergency, other than 911?
I mean, if our phones are down, we got the chief's phone number, I guess, call my cell phone, I love
But that landline number that we call and get to for dispatch, it'll be turned off. When they turn us
That I have to double check.
Oh,
I have to double check, because we got a lot of things going on over there, and some of them will be brought down and some of them won't, but I would say that the 911 service, because it runs through Hot Cog, they're on, that work is on a dedicated circuit, as I understand, so that should not be affected. And we'll confirm that, I want this well thought through, because this is a big,
Yeah.
and that was the conversation yesterday.
Very
is,
important.
Y'all did this before, how did y'all do it last time? Tell me how you did it last time. They said, well, last time, we're using the old telex type system, the old phone network system.
Yeah.
So it wasn't any big deal, we just ran a parallel when we were ready, everything was in place, we turned it on. Now, we're replacing this
Yeah.
on top of it, that's where it becomes more complex. I'll keep you guys informed, I
Right in the
promise.
middle of the cloud, Andy.
Right in the middle of the cloud, baby.
Well, I'm in the cloud today.
On that cloud.
All right, the next thing is budget review. Let's take about a 5-minute break.